Are you ready to build a firm that gives you freedom, confidence, and consistent revenue without burnout or undercharging? Welcome to the Abundant Accountant Podcast, the show for accounting, tax, bookkeeping, and fractional CFO firm owners. If you've ever felt stuck discounting your fees, chasing clients, or giving away too much advice for free, you're in the right place. Here at the Abundant Accountant Podcast, we talk about how to have sales mastery, how to charge premium pricing, how to have boundaries that stick so you're in full control with your clients, and how to convert high-value leads into high-paying clients with confidence and ease. Each episode, you're going to hear real success stories, you'll learn sales strategies, and you're going to hear from guest experts who will help you learn how to work a lot less, earn more, and finally create the firm and life that you deserve. Welcome to the Abundant Accountant Podcast. Today, we have a very special guest. Our special guest became the CEO of TaxProMarketer in 2023 after more than a decade of leading the company's SEO and sales departments. His expertise in search marketing has helped set a new standard in the tax and accounting industry. He is recognized as the top 20 under 40 honoree by CPA Practice Advisor, and he was also named a top presenter in 2023 by CPA Academy. Our special guest is also the host of the TaxProMarketer podcast. He's the sought-after speaker in the industry conferences and podcasts, bringing a wealth of experience as a small business owner for over 15 years. And outside of his professional achievements, he is a devoted husband and father of 4. But before we welcome our special guest to the show, if you've ever gotten off a sales call realizing that you gave away free advice again and again and again, and you felt yourself caving in when it came the time to say your prices, you're not alone. Most firm owners have incredible technical skills, but zero structure around sales. And it's costing you thousands of dollars every single month. Here at the Abundant Accountant, I'll show you how to shift from giving away your time to commanding your value without feeling sleazy or aggressive. So you know the exact words to say, and you'll never have to freeze up again. Go to theabundantcall.com and book your complimentary strategy session if you would like to turn your conversations into conversions and money in your bank account. On our call, we will go through the hidden obstacles that might be hindering your firm's growth. And this is a no obligation strategy session with me and my team. We're going to analyze your current practice, the challenges you've had, identify revenue blockers, and really craft a personalized roadmap for you to potentially double or even not triple your revenue without having the need to chase new clients. So head on over to theabundantcall.com, and we look forward to speaking to some of you soon. And now let's welcome our very special guest to the show, Christian Jones. Welcome to the show, Christian.
Hey, Michelle. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being back here on the Abundant Accountant Podcast. I'm super excited to dive in today and help many more firm owners out and increase revenue and make their lives more efficient and less complicated and less stressed. But before we dive in, I'd love it if you can share, for those that might not know who you are, what is it that you do, Christian, and what's your company?
Yeah, thanks, Michelle. Yeah, so Christian Jones here, guys. I'm the CEO of TaxProMarketer. We're a digital marketing agency that specifically serves the tax and accounting space, CPAs, bookkeepers, tax professionals of all stripes. We've been around we're actually getting close to 20 years, Michelle, if you can believe it. I've been here for 10. And so we're what we would call a full service agency where, our job is more than just websites and emails and social media content. It's to help our clients grow. And that doesn't always mean volume. It doesn't always mean, just a ton of lead flow. Sometimes it's a better type of lead that you're not getting in front of. And sometimes it is volume. But our job is to basically get to know our clients, their growth goals, and put a system, strategy, and the structure in place to help them kind of build the firm that they're wanting to have and get it established. So we do a lot of things, but yeah.
You focus on the marketing side of the firm. So when you're talking about full service agency, it's like full service marketing agency where you help with the websites, email, social content, Google, and all those other elements that come into play when someone's trying to, or when you're trying to gain the interest of a potential prospect, correct? So I'd love it, Christian, if you can share the difference between what you think sales and marketing is, because I think they're two very different elements that go hand in hand, but how your agency focuses on the marketing aspect.
Yeah, that's a good distinction there. And I would just add in, sometimes people with marketing, they lump in advertising as well.
Mm-hmm.
And those are actually different in their own
Oh,
respects, right? So marketing and advertising, we do both. So we are a
how
marketing
would you
agency.
differentiate the two between marketing and
Yeah,
advertising? How would you define
yeah.
the difference?
In our terminology, kind of the technical terms that we use for those different, distinct areas, advertising would be paid efforts,
Mm-hmm.
like paying for a Google pay-per-click campaign, a Facebook campaign, a campaign on LinkedIn. Right? It would be something where you're doing a pay to play, pay to get visible, whereas marketing as a discipline or an area to us would include kind of more organic or fundamental, especially digitally speaking, fundamental structures. So your website, your email follow-up, your social media content, getting reviews on Google. All of those areas kind of have their own disciplines too, but
Yep.
we do marketing, digitally speaking, and ads, and where that leads to is sales, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when you generate leads
Mm-hmm.
that are interested in what you do and it's a good fit for what you're looking for, well, now we're talking about closing deals. And so we have some software and a sales CRM that we provide for our clients, but that's where we pass the baton to them. We pass the baton to our clients when it's time to get on the phone and close someone. I think that's why we work well together, Michelle, because
Yes.
obviously that's where your area of expertise intersects as a sales
Mm-hmm.
consultant and helping put together, let's call it the sales process. But
Yeah.
our job is to set them up for Michelle to knock them down. Maybe would be
There
one
you
way to
go.
talk about it.
Well, and I think like you said it really nicely. There's two ways to get people interested in what you do, and those two things are under the marketing umbrella, but there's the marketing side, which is your organic, the fundamental structures that any business needs to have, like website, Google reviews, and then you've got your paid efforts, right? Your Google pay-per-click, or it's the pay to play route where you're paying an advertising engine to get interest in what you do. And then yes, you pass the baton off to me, and then you can use your lovely CRM solutions to help firm owners manage the following up and other stuff like that. But I know today, Christian, you've worked with a ton of firm owners, and I was curious if we could go through what you feel the three biggest common problems are that you see that many firm owners are facing that's keeping them away from reaching their goals, from maybe getting their firm to their level of revenue that they want and not being able to quit a job that they're in, or not being able to save for retirement and be able to afford putting more money into scaling their firm, right? Like advertising, that's a pay to play, that's scalability. So what's like the top problem that you see firm owners recently having a big challenge with?
Yeah, having done this for a decade, these are not the only problems we see when
Yes.
we're, meeting with, potential customers of TaxProMarketer or people in the industry. But these are obviously some of the biggest ones. These are some of the like core things that everyone is addressing or is trying to address. And one is we'll talk about new client acquisition soon. Like I'm not getting enough new clients, but the first one is actually
Mm.
existing clients that don't return.
Mm.
Now, some people have this as a pain point. Some people are like, no, man, my people are loyal and they're good. They're going to come back every year no matter what. And it just changes, right? Seasons change. And so I've bumped into people at times where it's like, man, I had a thriving firm. I had a great business and I don't know, I had 20%, 30% of my people not come back. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the things we just commonly run into is that um, in a world where there's just so much noise, there's so many, cold prospectors or LinkedIn emails or advertisers, there's so many things trying to vie for the attention of your customer. If you're a tax or accounting firm owner, you're not competing in isolation. Someone comes along and gives your clients, that feeling of being special, important, that sales psychology of just getting in front of them
Mm-hmm.
and being interested in them, right? It's not actually too dissimilar to the dating, world, which I'm
Yeah.
not in, but you want to put yourself out there and, just attract, talent or customers if we just keep it confined to the business context. And you are prone to losing your customers because someone is in their inbox, on the phone with them, sending them notes and helping them see or helping them think that there is something they're missing. And so when your firm is
Mm-hmm.
not from a marketing standpoint, this is where we kind of intersect with this question, Michelle. If your firm is not addressing marketing from a building relationship kind of like overall goal, if that's not what you're aiming at, then yeah, there can be a lot of turnover. The churn rate can be high, right? Because it's dependent on some factors that, I mean, you just kind of left some money on the table is maybe how I put it.
Right.
When your marketing, when your follow up, when your engagement is, I'm not just a once a year or a quarterly or a monthly check in. I'm not just your accountant, but I'm your kind of financial safe haven. I'm all things for you, kind of the guru, if you will, around tax and accounting, finance, everything. We want to help our clients kind of be branded
Mm-hmm.
that way. And that will reduce your churn and attrition because you're staying in front of your clients, engaging with them more. And this stuff really works. And I think it speaks to something too, Michelle, where people that we bring on and that are surprised at their growth. Part of the surprise is that they just don't see themselves in the proper light that they should, which is when they come in and they solve problems for their clients. I mean, this is not just, the books being completed. This is not just another return being done on time. The taxes, accounting, bookkeeping, all of it, it scares most people.
Yeah.
It does. It's terrifying to people that are not in our space. It's a problem that they need dealt with. And when you not only get it done and get it done well, but when you also position yourself as that, financial security blanket of, I'm going to handle all this stuff for you so you don't have to. And let me also kind of keep you abreast and keep you on, in loop of all these other things you should think about. You're adding value to the conversation. You're engaging with them more often. That's when I say you're leaving money on the table. It's because you're not following up
Mm-hmm.
regularly with your existing clients. The best client to get is the one you already have.
Have. Yep.
Getting new clients is
Totally.
great, but if you can't keep the ones you've already established rapport with and they get sniped because some cold prospector or email or they're at a conference, you just want to eliminate as best you can some of those concerns by being what you are, which is, again, this financial safe haven security blanket. You are the one that helps them sleep at night because you're in their corner. And you can kind of do marketing in such a way to fit that bill, but not many people do. Not many people do in our experience.
Yeah. And I think also, Christian, a big misunderstanding because you're saying marketing. It's like, well, are you talking about that I need to continue marketing to my current clients? And I think just to clear that up, what we're saying is that if you're building a relationship as your overall goal, and here at the Abundant Accountant, we talk about relationship-based selling, your churn rate, I don't know if everyone knows what that means, Christian, but that's the amount of clients you're losing because you are not on your toes. You are slacking, you're overworked, you feel underpaid, you have too much work on your desk, you're at capacity or over capacity in your firm, so you're not delivering the service at the level that you started at. And you're not keeping touch, you don't have enough touch points, let's say.
Yeah.
And
It does
yeah,
come down to that. Just staying in front of your people.
yes.
It is, again, it's under the banner of marketing because I think, again, that agencies, advertisers, marketing groups that make it all about clicks and all about leads that are coming in, which is not a bad
Mm-hmm.
thing to be aware of. That's a part of my job. But when it's couched under the numbers alone are success
Mm-hmm.
versus the relationships that they can form, your marketing to sales process needs to have a similar theme of being relational, of being, yes, of course, professional and competent and all those things, but that relational component is just sometimes, again, yeah, like you said, Michelle, when you're just working in your business all the time, you're just getting the emails out, you're getting the work done, you're getting the paperwork completed.
Mm-hmm.
When you don't zoom out and just ask yourself, what is it like to be a customer of my firm? Like, what is that? Put yourself in the shoes of your
I think that's a
existing
great
customer.
question.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time, just trying to sit in someone else's seat can be revealing if you really sit with it. Like, when do they hear from you? How much or how little? What are you telling them? Is it, good news? Is it bad news? Is it just neutral reports with data that's not interpreted? Right? Like some of the ops related stuff, like deliverables, that's one side of it. But what we do for our clients, this is one of a handful of key services, but weekly relationally oriented email is
Mm-hmm.
our secret weapon. And it's something you can do without us, but it's again kind of where are you gonna find the time? And so we write kind of weekly custom personal emails that are blending expertise and authority with being warm and friendly and just
Yeah.
engaging. It's not rocket science like most things are, but when done well, it starts to scratch an itch for your clients of, oh, okay, so this person's doing my books, doing my taxes, doing my accounting, but also I'm getting amazing content from them that helps me on other fronts. And people really will read emails that are written well. What they don't read are newsletters.
Yes.
What they don't read are spammy things. But if someone's trusted you with their taxes, their accounting, their bookkeeping, they are going to read your emails.
Mm-hmm.
They are going to, because again, just in their mind, they're afraid, they're annoyed. This is a problem. They're looking for you to solve it. And if you go above and beyond that and are adding value to that relationship through other mediums like
Mm-hmm.
email, we have found that consistently to be something that can set our clients apart. And again, I'm kind of an SEO guy, which is,
Mm-hmm.
more or less how to rank on Google. That's more of my professional background. But as a company, something we've done for a long, long time is this weekly relational email. And it's something that the data, our own experience, other agencies, other marketers would support. So again, if there's maybe one takeaway so far from this podcast, set aside some time if you want to do it yourself. Write your clients. Forget about prospects for a second. Write your clients, once a month, twice a month. Weekly actually is best. Weekly is what the data says is best, but at least do twice a month if you can.
It's
Something that's written from your
consistency that's
desk.
key, right?
It is. It
You
is
know,
consistency that's
so
key.
if you can only consistently do it once a month, then once a month, or if you can consistently do it
Yeah.
twice a month, then twice a month. But no matter
Or
what,
get someone to do it for you, like
right?
us, but do something on this front because it really will. Keeping the client you already have should be, with building a relationship oriented marketing system. Let's start there. But once we get that clear, once
With
you're in
current clients,
agreement, yeah, deal with your current clients. Instead of
yeah.
focusing on new clients first, deal with how do I keep what I've already got? Because that's the base we want
Hmm.
to build off of.
I agree 100%. And I have the Abundant Millionaire Mastermind, kind of a higher level coaching program that we have here at the Abundant Accountant. And one of the things that we do specifically on this, so if you have monthly clients or monthly bookkeeping or CFO advisory, I'm meeting with them one on one every 6 to 8 weeks where we're having a touch point, right? Because, like you said, we have to stay in front of our people, but think about what is it that you would want if you were in their shoes? How would you want to be treated with that firm, or in our case, with us? And if someone was paying me for coaching, or if I were paying somebody for coaching, I would want to check in at least every 6 to 8 weeks or so, and someone else holding me accountable, because that's what I'm paying for. And people are paying all of you to hold them accountable for their finances. For, like you said, a financial safe haven requires someone to hold you accountable to make sure that everything is a safe haven and not, a volcano about to erupt.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and there's another thread to that too, where in our industry, one of the big trends that's not new, but there's a lot of good people, like the CFO project comes to mind, the people at Scaling come to mind. There's other coaches and consultants. And I say Scaling, that's their event. The Woodard Group, of course, is behind that. But people that are trying to help a tax or accounting or bookkeeping professional go from being, that to being an advisor. And obviously
Mm-hmm.
Dominique helps with that too, right? In the tax
Mm-hmm.
planning space with
Yep.
AICTP. There's a lot of people who are asking, how do I become more than just the bookkeeper, than just the
Right.
accountant, than just the tax preparer? And so some of that's a little high level and philosophical that like you've got to get your mind around going that direction. But for those of you that have started that journey or are considering that journey, and again, advisory means something different to just about everyone I talk with. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
just part-time CFO work. Sometimes it's going to be some tax planning. Sometimes it's, higher level accounting analysis, software tech, and all of that's great. Whatever that means to you, if you're going to be an advisor, then like Michelle, what you're saying, you need to also kind of communicate with your clients and your leads like you're an advisor. An
Correct.
advisor is more like a consultant
They're a
and is
guide.
providing.
You're the one being the leader.
Yep.
So take the leading role,
Yep.
and that will eliminate your churn rate, because that just means people leaving you and somebody else became more interesting. Because the number one complaint, I think, Christian, that most firm owners lose the client because they can't get a hold of their accountant or firm owner or tax firm owner or whatever. So if they can't reach you and they're trying to reach out to you and it's too difficult, they're going to go somewhere else eventually. People hate change, but they will leave, especially if you're saying that the churn rates can be really high. It's shocking to me because it's one of the easiest things to solve, and it's one of the least expensive marketing efforts that you could have in your firm, because it is much more effective from a financial standpoint to keep a client than it is to go and do advertising to pay to get a new client.
Yeah, yeah. The two things I'd add to that, then let's talk about new clients. Um, the way we talk about this with people that we're working with or that are considering working with us is it's
Mm-hmm.
solving the problem of perceived indifference, the perception from your customers that you're indifferent to them, that you don't care. And like you said, Michelle, people don't like change, but they will change. They will change if they feel, again, like, I just didn't feel like you cared. So it's not
Mm-hmm.
actually the work you're doing, although sometimes there's things to work on there, right? Better processes, better deliverables, better reporting
Mm-hmm.
structures. Sure. Yep. There's work there as well. New softwares and things to consider just to get the information to them. But there's also just that feeling of, are they cared for? And that is something that people want, especially as they start paying you more and more money. They will want to know that you also care and that you're, getting ahead of things on their behalf.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so again, back to churn, and that'll relate to new clients as well, because let's add new people to this client list that you've got. There's an acceptable rate of churn, like 0% churn. You've got 1,000 clients and you didn't lose a single one. That's not necessarily the goal. A part of churn is that there's an acceptable rate, and it depends on kind of what your niche is, the size of your business, what your price points are. If you want to have 50 really high paying clients, well, then losing five is 10% churn
Yeah.
on a monthly basis, right? That's a big deal. But if you have 500 or 5,000 clients, losing 50 or 5 or 10 or whatever, it's not as big of a deal because you have a different model. So your churn rate is relative to your, kind of business model. It's
Mm-hmm.
relative to your scale, scope, and pricing. But you want to have probably, you don't want to be churning over 5% of your clients on a monthly basis. 3 is maybe a little more acceptable. And that also, needs to factor in that you're bringing on new clients as well. And so getting new clients is the second big area that I commonly hear. I'll ask the question in a webinar, from the stage, when I'm talking with someone on the phone, if I could wave a magic wand and bring you 5 new qualified leads a month,
Mm-hmm.
would you take it? And they're like, yeah, that's why I'm talking to you. I'm talking to a marketer because I need help with that. And it's like, well, not everyone will say that. Most people will, but
Yep.
that's not an unreasonable goal. It's not an unreasonable goal. And for some, it's a lot more. For some, 5 would actually be too much, right? Just depends on what your offering is, what you're trying to do. If you're doing really high level part-time CFO work where you're getting really integrated into a business, maybe 2 a month is enough because you're
Mm-hmm.
onboarding and getting connected to their systems and setting expectations. It just all depends, right? But marketing is usually, shockingly, digital marketing is so neglected by our space. Generally speaking, there are some that are doing it and are doing well, but generally speaking, most people have grown their business on referrals.
Yep.
They've grown their, firm based on just their internal warm network, and that's awesome. But there comes a point where that just isn't the only horse you want to have kind of pulling you forward,
Right.
where you want to leverage eyeballs going to other places and get in front of them.
And how
And
would you
that's,
define digital marketing for the firm owners listening that might say, well, Christian, I
yeah,
don't really know what you're talking about right now. You've been
yeah,
talking about marketing, but what do you mean by digital marketing? How would you define
yeah.
that?
Obviously, the simplest, most obvious answer is that it's marketing through any online means or vehicles or platforms. So, what comes to mind for us, first and foremost, when it comes to visibility, because digital marketing is also Facebook and emails and it's blogs and it's your website. But the
Mhm.
first thing that we want to kind of focus on when we're talking about generating leads from digital marketing is you want to build your online infrastructure, your online digital ecosystem in such a way that you show up on Google. So
Mm.
this is kind of a very active conversation because we're asking the question and many people are asking the question, is AI, are people just going to use ChatGPT or Grok, which is, Twitter or X's,
Yep.
AI service. There are more people using these new AI kind of platforms to do their searching, but the vast majority are still using Google. And so if I'm a business owner, we talk about what does digital marketing look like when it comes to just getting found by people that are interested in you. It's
Mm-hmm.
building your site and your Google presence in such a way that if they type in best bookkeeper in Salt Lake, accounting firm in Dallas, CPA in New York,
Yeah, that
whatever,
you pop up.
you want to be there. And it's
Mm-hmm.
not an accident if you are there. And it's not an accident if you're not. It's intentional. You're getting the exact results, kind of that famous quote. You're getting the exact results that your system is designed to produce. And so your system right now, if you're not showing up on Google, that's how it's designed. And that's sometimes a hard pill to swallow for people when they did spend money on their website or they spent time on it. And so your website's not the sole reason you'll show up on Google. There's factors on your website. There's factors off your website. That's a technical training for another day.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, you can actually make a beautiful website. You can make a really beautiful website that looks great with good content and good photos that doesn't get found. And
Wow.
that's where it gets kind of tricky for people, where it's like, Christian, I spent $10,000 on this website from this local group
How
that
come
did
no
great
one
work.
find
And
me?
yeah, why am I not being found? And that's an unfortunate thing to say. It's fortunate and unfortunate because once you learn how this stuff works, you'll never make the same mistake again. But graphic design, web design is not the
Different.
same
Yep.
as exactly having a site that's built to be powerful.
Yeah, it's built to
Powerful
be found.
sites,
It's built to be found. It's built, like you
right?
said, it's an ecosystem. So, in order, you can build one for, it's like window shopping, but we want people to actually be able to find you based on their problems and their needs and their wants and desires and challenges in their business. And with a site built that's intentional for digital marketing purposes, it might not be as pretty, but it sure is getting you people that are interested in the problems that you solve for you to have then an opportunity to have a sales conversation. Because we don't want people just window shopping and seeing how nice our website is. That doesn't do your top line revenue any good,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's step one. Step one is just getting found. Awareness is the beginning of a, relationally oriented marketing strategy. I
Mm-hmm.
just got to get found first. I've got to get visible, but then we've got to start a conversation. And then we've got to get a meeting scheduled and we've got to position value and all the stuff Michelle does as well as you
Yep.
get on to pitch, right? And that's where sales and marketing start to blend together. They're very integrated, they are distinct, but they flow well together when you have a clear plan of what you're going to pitch people on and also a system to keep it all
Mm-hmm.
organized in. You're going to do well. It's just the business basics. They really, there's nothing new under the sun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Get leads, be good at closing leads, your business will grow. Be good at serving clients, your business will grow. But a lot of people, again, they just got started and I didn't
Yeah.
really think about marketing. I didn't think about systems. I just was my own process, my own brain, my own spreadsheets. And eventually you just get to a point where it's like, okay, this is a great thing to outsource. Your sales system, great thing to outsource to Michelle. Your marketing system, great thing to outsource to someone like us or another competent group. You want to get someone to do the stuff that you didn't get in business to do. You didn't get in business to do digital marketing, but it's a great way to grow. And so let's find a way to get it off your plate so you get your time back and get better leads and solve that problem. Because again, if you're churning a lot of clients.
Well, yeah, if you that's easy. Go figure out if you're above 5%. If you're above 5%, you have a serious problem that you need to solve right now because it's costing you more to try to fill it in with this step 2, which is getting new clients.
That also might lead to a problem where if you're above 5%, if you're at 8% churn or 10% churn, then just pasting more clients into that existing business ecosystem
is a horrible idea.
Exactly. It's actually a problem. It's actually not going to necessarily yield positive improvement because there's some structural things or some, again, client service things. And maybe it is reaching out to your clients more often. Maybe it's a pricing thing. Maybe it's software or some type of regular feedback they need. And I don't know, but every business is different. But that is a great barometer to say, data on its own doesn't tell a story, but it does give clues.
Yep.
And so if you're above that 5%, 6 or 7%, 8% churn, then that is something to say, red flag. Let's ask a question because that doesn't have to stay that way. You can fix that. You can fix those problems.
Yeah, all of this is fixable. And like you said, if building relationships is your overall goal, these are all problems that Christian's heard recently as the top problems in the firm that's costing and, leaving you thousands of dollars on the table that could be in your bank account right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we'll have to talk about customer lifetime value another day, Michelle, but that's another great metric to kind of look at, again, the value of just keeping a lead.
Yeah. Well, I think today and, really identifying these problems that are keeping some firm owners stuck or just thinking, oh, well, I have a website, but why am I not getting anything? These are the common issues in many firms that are really simple to solve. It doesn't take a lot of effort. So I just want to thank you for being here with us today on the Abundant Accountant podcast. It's always an honor to have you, and we'll have more conversations, I'm sure, in the near future.
Absolutely. Yeah. Michelle, thanks for having me as well. And next time we chat, we'll probably have some new initiatives or some new elements that we can add into the mix and things that hopefully, we're doing some testing right now. Hopefully we'll be able to update on some new powerful some of them AI focused marketing initiatives. So
love it.
We'll touch base as we get some of that data back. We'll have to have an AI
conversation in the future. And just want to say thank you again for taking out the time to be here and sharing your wisdom. And it's always an honor.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you all so much for joining Christian and I today on another amazing episode of the Abundant Accountant podcast. And if you're an accounting, tax, or bookkeeping firm owner, and you're tired of those awkward sales calls once you get the interest from your marketing or advertising efforts, and you're worried you're going to say the wrong thing or you're going to be stuck undercharging for your services, I've got something for you. I'll show you how to lead every sales call with total confidence so you can finally charge what you're worth, work with those right clients that show their interest in you, and hit your revenue goals without sacrificing weekends or family time. Imagine closing high-value clients just in one phone call, paying off your debt, never having AR again, and booking that dream vacation that you've kept postponing. That's the kind of freedom we create here for firm owners at The Abundant Accountant. Go to theabundantcall.com and grab your free, no-pressure strategy call with me and my team, where we break down your current setup, find the gaps in your revenue, and map out a clear path to double your revenue without getting new clients and focusing on what we talked about today here on the Abundant Accountant podcast, which is focusing on your churn and decreasing that and making sure that we create a relationship-based sales process that clients will never leave you, and how we can focus on our existing clients that might not be returning, but we actually want to keep them. So once again, go to theabundantcall.com, and we look forward to speaking to some of you soon.